when I'm not even there. You haven't even verified with the county plat whether I'm on their property or this is an easement.
Well, listen to me. Regardless of whether or not you're wanting to identify yourself
Supervisor.
or not, you want a supervisor?
I'm going to vote my Fifth Amendment right and my First Amendment and ask for a supervisor. No. Denbo, he's been under investigation by me for a while. Yep, and I'm glad I got him.
He doesn't know what an easement is?
No.
That's an easement. You see the telephone pole right there?
He doesn't know what an easement is in Burleson. Yeah, he didn't show you the plat map. Stop, man. Can't on a freaking city utility, bro. You guys have that fire stuff. That is not there. That's why their bushes are there. That's why their signage is on that side of the property line. Come on, man. You should know better.
Listen, if y'all want to speak to a supervisor, that's fine.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to do is get you identified. So that
okay, then guess what? I want them trespassed from Fort Worth. Everywhere in Fort Worth.
Good luck.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I want these guys trespassed from that apartment complex. You know how ridiculous that sounds? Because they've never stepped foot. I've never stepped foot on their
service to anybody that
they can, and I'm not planning on going on their property, nor have I gone on their property. Do I plan on going on their property?
That's cool. Ultimately, all they're wanting to do is have it logged in our system just in case.
Great. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you know what 3802 is? 3802. 3802 says
Texas Penal Code.
Texas Penal Code 3802 says that I have to identify only if I
been lawfully arrested.
Listen, I'm not arguing that. All I was wanting to do is see if y'all were even willing to identify.
At 30.05.
That's fine, okay? And here's the thing. They don't want you on your property.
I've never stepped foot, so
don't go back on their property.
and even if I had, they still got to ask me to leave, and I got to have a reasonable amount of time to leave. I've never been on their property.
Did you give them that opportunity?
I've never even talked to them. They never came out and talked to us.
They never came back.
No, that's why I was asking you. Did they call? Because obviously you showed up.
That's why I'm here.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. We had a gentleman who recognized her and stopped by and said hello and everything. Again, on the easement. We've never stepped foot. This is probably maybe about right there, which is where the telephone pole is, the closest we've been to stepping foot on the property.
He said he needed our identification to identify. So now he's saying,
I'll go back and play. I'm not going to confirm or deny at this moment whether he asked or demanded
The only way that I can log criminal trespass is by asking you if you're really.
I'm not going to.
This encounter starts exactly the way so many constitutional conflicts do. Casual, almost friendly, and deceptively simple. A phone call comes in, an officer shows up, and within seconds, the words criminal trespass are on the table. But here's the twist. Nobody has verified where anyone is standing, what property they're actually on, or whether a crime has even occurred. What you're about to see is a textbook example of how authority often relies on assumption instead of confirmation, and how quickly they can spiral when someone knows their rights and refuses to play along.
Respect our rights out in public or not?
Well,
Why are you doing it in front of a marijuana?
Do you support the Constitution?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Well, that's what we love to hear.
Why are you doing it in front of a cannabis store?
Well, because I'm out here, I'm seeing if people respect our rights out in public.
And we do. Thank you. Take
All right,
care.
awesome. You as well.
Afternoon, sir.
How's it going?
Hey, just kind of getting a quick idea what you might be doing right now.
You're trying to get a quick idea of what I might be doing right now?
Yes.
Like, do you mean like outside of filming?
So yeah, while you're filming the area,
yeah.
I'm just wondering why.
Oh, you're just wondering why?
Yes.
Does it really change anything, or?
Well, we had a few people call. They were concerned. They just wanted to. We're just trying to figure out what's going on.
I'm just filming, man. Everything you could see. That's it.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you're safe, because right now you're in a kind of a more dangerous position, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so that's like a safety concern for me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Because right now you're on the edge of the road, and God forbid I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Do you have an ID on you by chance?
Do I have an ID on me?
Yes, some form of identification.
For what?
So I can identify you, so I know who I spoke with.
I'm good. You can identify me as good citizen.
Okay, is there a reason why you are taking a video?
Is there a reason why you just came up and asked me for my ID? Like that really doesn't make any sense.
I'm speaking with.
But why do you need to do that?
So I can document who I spoke with.
Right, but okay. All right. What do you need to get someone's identification, usually?
I just need to speak. I just want to identify you just so I know who I spoke with.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, sounds good. Anything? Can I help you with anything else, or?
Just trying to figure out why you might be filming the bank.
All right.
Do you care to answer that question?
This is where the entire encounter starts to crack. The officer admits they haven't confirmed the county plat, haven't verified the easement, and yet continues pushing toward criminal trespass anyway. That's not a minor oversight. That's the foundation of the entire claim. Trespass requires location, notice, and authority. Without confirming where someone is standing, everything else becomes speculation dressed up as enforcement. Notice how identification suddenly becomes the fallback tactic. When the property argument weakens, the conversation shifts to just trying to identify you.
And individuals at the bank?
What I'm just trying to get into like what you're getting at here, like down the road, like what's the point? Like why? Why does the why matter for you specifically?
Just trying to figure it out.
Right, but are you just you're doing that because people are curious?
Well, people were concerned.
All right, you know, I'll make you a deal. How about this? If you want to go and ask this guy right here why he's driving a white truck because I'm concerned and I'm curious, and he gives you a valid reason and a valid, reason as to why he's driving a white truck today, then maybe I'll consider having a conversation about why I'm filming.
Right now, more so, I'm concerned of where you are.
Right. Yep.
I don't want to in my opinion, you're at risk right now.
Right.
You're on an unsteady ground with high traffic area.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
So, again, if you want to film, legally you can film outside of businesses.
I know. Thank you.
But I'm more concerned about your safety right now. If you would care to just move down to a safer location.
I will, as soon as I'm done. I will.
Just think.
Just think.
This narration hits the heart of the issue. Assumption over investigation. Instead of confirming facts, the officer appears content relying on complaints and second-hand claims. That's a dangerous precedent, because rights don't disappear just because someone feels uncomfortable. Law enforcement exists to enforce laws, not emotions. What's striking here is how casually constitutional protections are treated as obstacles instead of obligations. The refusal to check public records, plats, or easement documentation isn't just laziness. It's a systemic problem.
Who they are, so that way we can add it to our CAD notes, so that way if something happens or if somebody wants to file a complaint or whatever, it makes it easier for our bosses to know who got and spoke with.
Yeah, Lieutenant, I do have an ID.
Okay.
I don't have it on me, and I don't make it a habit. It's my policy not to identify myself.
Okay.
Unless I committed a crime, no. Or
it's not necessarily you committed a crime. Again, it's whenever we make contact with the public, we usually, we always we always get a name, date of birth, some sort of identification for them, whether it be via citation if they've made a traffic stop, or they call us out there, or we get a call from, say, City Hall.
Yeah.
Says, hey, somebody's walking around out here looking suspicious, taking photos of people's cars, of their license plates, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
No, and I understand your policy completely.
Right. So that policy is, I'm going to ask you for your identification. So if you don't have it on you, I need to get your name, date of birth then.
My policy is I don't identify myself unless you suspect me.
I'm going to ask you to stop recording. I'm going to ask you to leave. And if you refuse to do that, then we'll take it up from the stuff from here.
Here's a tactic you'll see constantly. Concern disguised as control. The officer frames the interaction as a safety issue, which sounds reasonable, until it pivots straight into a request for identification. Safety doesn't require a name, a date of birth, or paperwork. But invoking safety creates pressure, and pressure creates compliance. What's important here is the calm, measured response. There's no hostility, no refusal to communicate, just a refusal to surrender rights unnecessarily. And that distinction matters. Courts have repeatedly held that consensual encounters remain consensual only as long as compliance isn't coerced.
Lawful order, and you're failing to obey that law.
No, you need reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime that I'm committing or I'm about to commit in order to demand.
You just did by not giving me the information that I asked for.
That's not true.
Okay, I know who he is. He's one of these.
Just because I know the law, you know who I am.
All right.
Well, please.
One thing, if you want to look at the cars that are identifiably marked as police department.
So this Camry over here says law enforcement. Is that?
That's actually a personal tag.
So why does it say? Why would they do that? Preferential treatment.
Mississippi has law enforcement tags that actually sponsor law enforcement activities, i.e., the benevolence fund, so when a cop gets killed, their family has money that's given to them to help support them because they lost the income for.
I can respect that. Yeah.
That's what that tag's for.
Okay.
The only cars that you're going to be allowed to look at out in this lot are ones that are clearly marked as South Haven Police Department or have a government tag, like on my own marked unit that has a government tag. Outside of that, you cannot take pictures of those cars. You can't take pictures of the inside of those cars because that's private property. And by doing such, you are trespassing into that private property.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, I'm just telling you that's how it's going to work.
You can't trespass the eyes, and at the end of the day, if it's in public, I could see it. If you went up on a traffic stop and you're looking in somebody's, it's the plain view doctrine. It's the plain view doctrine, correct? If you could see it, are you trespassing into?
Reasonable suspicion to be out here.
Are you when you're on a traffic stop, Lieutenant? Please, I'll let you talk. Can you let me talk? When you're at a traffic stop and you're looking in somebody's car with your flashlight, do you have any reasonable suspicion or anything? No, because it's called the plain view doctrine. Right. Anything you can see from public. Right. That's it. And if you see a drugs or a gun or a firearm from plain view,
what's the difference between you and me?
Nothing really.
Is it not? Because I have this on here.
Yeah.
And it's also a safety
you have a badge
for me when I'm looking at that car, whether or not somebody's hiding in the back seat with a gun or an RPG or something to do something to me. Yeah, you, on the other hand, have openly admitted you are a journalist out there getting B footage for something, but you're also doing that not on government property, not on government vehicles, but on personal vehicles.
But they're in public. They're in public.
But we have reasonable suspicion.
So you're going to go to Walmart and do the same thing? Are you going to Walmart and do the same thing?
Well, Walmart would be private property, so this is public property, sir. That's the difference. Okay. This is public property.
Well, I'm asking you not to look.
I understand what you're asking me, sir. I understand.
Every vehicle out here is for an officer.
I
Some of these
understand
are
that.
public cars, the people that are up here that are filing complaints, legit complaints that have emergencies.
This analysis is dead on. Politeness doesn't equal legality. Friendly tones don't magically create lawful authority. Officers often rely on social pressure, hoping politeness will override knowledge. But when someone understands their rights, that tactic collapses. What you're witnessing here is not defiance, it's discipline. The subject doesn't escalate, doesn't insult, and doesn't comply. That combination is incredibly powerful, and it exposes how thin some of these encounters really are. This is why education matters. Because without it, the same interaction would end very differently.
Appears like you're trying to circumvent inspection at the checkpoint, so we just have to investigate it. So it's a public road, but like I said,
right, yeah.
If you're not going into the local ranches,
right, I'm not going to the ranches.
That's fine. Hey, can you roll the window down in the back? I can't see through the tent.
No, that's fine.
What's that?
That's fine.
That I can't see through the tent?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking to see if anybody else is with you, man.
So what's the reason for the stop?
I just told you.
I'm a U.S. citizen, so what's the reason for the stop?
I already told you what the reason was.
Okay, so...
Because we were over there on the access road watching traffic.
Okay, is this...
We observed your vehicle.
Is this over?
I'm sorry?
Is this over?
Where are you from, partner?
Is this over? Did I say I'm a U.S. citizen already?
Yeah, you just did. Yeah.
All right,
do you have anybody in the trunk or anything in the trunk?
Did I say I'm a U.S. citizen?
Do you have anything in the trunk?
Do you see anybody else here?
Do people hide in trunks?
I don't know. Rank enters the scene, and with it, confidence that authority alone will resolve things. But watch closely. The legal reasoning doesn't improve. In fact, it deteriorates. Policies are cited as law. Personal preferences are framed as commands, and constitutional activity is suddenly treated as negotiable. The most alarming moment is the attempt to condition rights on compliance. Identify yourself or leave. That's not how constitutional protections work. Rights aren't transactional. You don't trade them for convenience.
That's okay. We have to investigate. That's the reason why I'm here on the stop, is because I'm investigating to see what you're doing here on the access.
Are those trainees or what?
I'm sorry?
Are those trainees?
They're Border Patrol agents.
Trainees?
They're Border Patrol agents.
Trainees?
They're Border Patrol agents.
Why can't you answer a simple question?
Because he's a Border Patrol agent.
Can you advise him that blocking my camera is a constitutional violation?
Blocking your camera? How's he blocking your camera?
With the light. Just directly at my camera.
in the vehicle.
It's directly at the
Hey, do you have anything in the trunk now?
I don't answer questions.
I'm sorry?
I don't answer questions.
All right, just hold on just 1 second for me.
Why am I detained?
All right, partner, I would just feel more comfortable if I knew if there was anybody hiding in your trunk, man.
Right,
so.
I don't answer questions.
That's fine. I'm going to call K9 up here. They're just going to run it. If the dog's 19, then
Rodriguez versus U.S., you cannot detain me beyond the scope of your
It's within the scope of my duties, man.
Of your detainment. Why did you detain me for?
I already explained why I detained you.
All right, that's irrelevant to whatever I have in my trunk.
Sorry?
That's irrelevant to whatever I have in my trunk.
How is that irrelevant?
Did you pull me over because you...
This is where the argument completely falls apart. The plain view doctrine is well established. If something is visible from a lawful vantage point, observing or recording it is not trespass. The attempt to redefine eyes as trespassing isn't just incorrect. It's legally absurd that what's telling is the emotional shift. Once logic enters the conversation, frustration replaces authority. That's often the clearest sign that the legal footing is gone. And yet, the subject remains composed, calmly dismantling claims with established doctrine and real-world comparisons. That's how these encounters end without arrests.
I'm one of the local ranches.
Okay.
You're not oil field.
I am not. I never claim I am.
Okay, then to me it looks like you're circumventing inspection at the checkpoint.
I did circumvent the inspection, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm investigating that.
All right. I am a U.S. citizen. You're an immigration officer.
That's right, and I've caught plenty of people before that smuggle people in their trunks.
Okay, you have any facts to believe or any legitimate reason to believe that I have somebody in the trunk?
Sir, tell you what.
Rodriguez versus United States, you're detaining me beyond the scope of whatever you claimed initially.
No, I'm not, sir.
You are. You actually are.
I told you I would feel more comfortable.
You have a supervisor, Caton?
I do have a supervisor.
Can you call your supervisor?
Yeah, that's fine.
You're violating my constitutional rights at this point.
No, I'm not.
You are.
That's fine.
That is my legal opinion.
I'm sorry?
That is my legal opinion, and you actually are.
That's your legal opinion?
Yes, sir.
Well, are you a judge?
A judge?
No, you said it's your legal opinion.
It is my legal opinion.
Okay. Well, I'll call a supervisor right now.
All right. Are you a rookie?
I'm sorry?
Are you a rookie?
I'm sorry?
Are you a rookie officer?
A rookie?
Yeah.
No, I'm not a rookie, sir.
You're not?
I'm not a rookie.
All right.
Why? What would the relevance of that be anyways?
Your incompetence, your lack of knowledge.
I'm not incompetent, sir, but that's
Can
fine.
you
I'll
call your
supervisor?
why you're extending this detainment?
Okay, that's fine.
Why is it extended? Why is it extended?
I
Why are
just
you
told you I feel
extending?
more comfortable to know if there's anybody in your trunk right now, man.
How is that relevant?
Because I'm an immigration and
immigration.
Yeah.
Immigration.
And so if there's anybody hiding in your vehicle,
Immigration.
I need to perform an immigration inspection.
Immigration. You
On
believe
anybody in the vehicle?
You
Whether
see
they're
anybody
visible
else
right now or they're hidden in your trunk?
You see anybody else?
In your back seat? No. Is there anybody in the trunk?
What is that relevant?
Because people smoke.
Okay, what if I tell you no?
That's fine. And I told you I'm going to run a K9. And if the K9's 19, he says he doesn't detect any hidden people or narcotics in your trunk, then you'll be free to go.
Is your body cam activated?
It is activated.
You have reason to believe there is somebody in my trunk?
I do.
Really? What facts do you have to believe that?
I already told you why I
What
pulled you over,
facts
sir.
do you have?
I already
What
told
facts do you have to believe
We're
that?
just going in a goofy loop right now, man.
No. I mean, do you have to, in order for you to continue this detainment, you have to have some facts.
Do you want me to call my supervisor?
You're still detaining me.
I am. Do you want me to call? You wanted me to call my supervisor?
And you are violating
I'm not violating your rights.
clear established constitutional rights, which is Rodriguez versus United States.
Sir, you want me to call my supervisor?
Rodriguez versus United States.
You want me to call my supervisor or not?
This entire case boils down to one truth. Knowing your rights changes everything. From the first officer to supervisors and command staff, we saw repeated attempts to stretch authority beyond its legal limits, and repeated failures when those claims were challenged calmly and intelligently, and no crime was articulated. No lawful detention was established, and no demand for identification held up under scrutiny. This wasn't about safety or suspicion, it was about control. And control doesn't override the Constitution.